You and Blake have been married for?
Oh God, don't do this to me. 4 years. First, well, I was obsessed with this girl, Fiona Gorczynski. She used to take the bus the opposite way of my actual home, and I would get on the bus just to sit next to her.
Wow.
For 45 minutes the wrong way. But I love it when you're young, it's so cute. When you're older, it's just stalking.
The gavel has fallen, and with it, a stunning twist that could silence some of Hollywood's loudest voices to a case already tangled with accusations of retaliation, smear campaigns, and legal mind games. Blake Lively's team has just scored a major courtroom win. The judge not only sided with her, but issued a chilling warning to anyone who dares to criticize her inside court filings. Do it again, and you could face criminal contempt. That means fines, sanctions, even prison time. Could this be the most dangerous celebrity court strategy we've seen yet? Is this about protecting justice or weaponizing it to crush opponents? Stay tuned, because what we're about to unpack goes way deeper than headlines. This isn't just a legal victory, it's a blueprint for how power silences dissent. The mask has officially come off. Judge Lyman just handed Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds exactly what they wanted, a legal gag order disguised as courtroom decorum. Before we dive deeper, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This story is developing rapidly, and you won't want to miss our breaking updates on this shocking abuse of judicial power. The latest bombshell dropped on August 8, 2025, when Blake Lively secured a monumental legal victory against Justin Baldoni and his Wayfair Studios team. In a ruling that reverberates through the corridors of justice, Federal Judge Louis J. Lyman granted Lively's motion to strike her entire 292-page deposition transcript from the public docket. This wasn't a minor procedural hiccup. It was a devastating rebuke to Baldoni's legal strategy, labeling their actions as an abuse of the court system designed to harass and scandalize. Let's unpack this step by step. The deposition in question took place just last week at Lively's attorney's office in New York City, a face-to-face grilling where Baldoni himself was present. His lawyers probed Lively on her core allegations: sexual harassment on the set of It Ends With Us, and a purported smear campaign orchestrated by Baldoni and his publicists in retaliation. Lively stood firm, testifying that she believed Baldoni's camp had retaliated through an ongoing online assault, but she wisely refused to divulge confidential information shared by her counsel. Why, one might ask, would she need her lawyers to feed her details on retaliation she claims to have experienced firsthand? This subtle admission hints at potential cracks in her narrative. Could it suggest her claims rely more on legal coaching than personal knowledge? But the real controversy erupted when Baldoni's team, represented by Brian Friedman and his firm, attached the full, uncertified transcript to a court letter. They only quoted a fragment of one sentence in their filing, a mere snippet where Lively admitted her personal knowledge of the smear campaign was limited to the retaliatory lawsuit itself and statements made by Friedman about her character. Why flood the docket with nearly 300 pages of irrelevant material? Judge Lyman didn't mince words. This served no proper litigation purpose, and instead appeared calculated to burden Lively, inviting public speculation and scandal. He invoked the court's inherent powers to manage its affairs, emphasizing that dockets must not be co-opted for private spite or public drama. This ruling doesn't stand in isolation. It builds on a pattern the judge has already identified in Baldoni's filings. Previously, the court struck other documents from Wayfair for similar improper purposes, like stirring press uproar. Lyman pointed out that even if the cited portions were relevant, and he noted that's far from clear, the gratuitous inclusion of the rest was inescapable evidence of ulterior motives. Baldoni's side, he argued, aimed to force Lively into moving for continued sealing, then twist her response for PR gains, portraying her as fearful of the truth. Why risk such a blatant misstep? It smacks of desperation or overconfidence, especially when standard practice is to submit only the pertinent pages, 2 or 3 at most, for any motion. Shifting focus to the shadowy figure of Ryan Reynolds, Lively's husband, whispers in legal circles paint him as the true architect behind this relentless offensive. With seemingly bottomless pockets, Reynolds is allegedly fueling an annihilation campaign against those who crossed his path, using Lively as the public face while he pulls strings from behind. This lawsuit, in essence, bears his imprint: aggressive, resource-heavy, and unforgiving. Lively's filings meticulously craft her as the ultimate victim, abused, harassed, and now besieged by a docket weaponized against her. But is this narrative airtight? Her team's speed and aggression contrast sharply with Baldoni's more passive stance, rooted perhaps in his personal philosophy of non-aggression and faith-based do-no-harm principles. Baldoni, Friedman, and their allies avoid pouncing on Lively's potential missteps, rarely seeking sanctions or strikes against her motions. Why hold back when she exploits every tiny error? This restraint could stem from a desire to avoid escalation, but it leaves them perpetually on defense, incapable of mounting an offensive that might level the playing field. Enter Perez Hilton, the celebrity blogger thrust unwillingly into this vortex, whose actions have amplified the drama to fever pitch. Subpoenaed by Lively's team for his voluminous coverage, over 540 disparaging posts about her feud with Baldoni, Hilton fired back with a series of wild, unfiltered court filings that read more like tabloid rants than legal documents. On August 5th and 6th, 2025, he submitted letters laced with venom, calling Lively's lawyer Ezra Hudson a disgraceful clown and publicity-seeking, dubbing Lively herself Subpoena Serena and a plantation-loving print princess, and even flirtatiously labeling the judge sexy and smart, while accusing him of bias toward Lively's counsel. He mocked Hudson's legal acumen as first-class buffoonery and demanded sanctions against her, all while representing himself pro-Essie in what he dubbed Sabina Gate. These outbursts weren't just ill-advised. They played directly into Lively's hands, solidifying her victimhood narrative. Hilton claimed stress from the subpoena, which sought his privileged journalistic information, and frustration over Lively's team dragging his family into the fray by docketing pictures of his kids. Understandable, perhaps, but catastrophic in court. Why risk it all when decorum is the bare minimum? Hilton's motions, a protective order and a quash filed in Nevada, were met with Lively's cross-motion to compel, arguing that by seeking relief in this court, he submitted to its jurisdiction. The judge responded swiftly, issuing an order reminding all parties, represented or not, to eschew intemperate language, personal attacks, demeaning nicknames, or accusations of bias and corruption. Violations? They could trigger contempt proceedings, criminal contempt, to be precise, which carries the very real threat of jail time. This warning isn't hyperbole. Contempt arises from insulting the court or disrupting proceedings, and Hilton's antics teeter on that edge. He's since vowed to calm down, but the damage is done. Lively's team pounced, ripping Hilton in filings for his unhinged behavior and demanding he pay her attorney's fees. Why subpoena a blogger in the first place? Lively alleges Baldoni colluded with Hilton to fuel the smear, pointing to Hilton's defense of Baldoni and shared sources. Hilton denies any connection, insisting his reporting is independent, but his inflammatory responses only bolster her case. Could this backfire spectacularly for Lively if Hilton's Nevada motion succeeds? Or will it exhaust him into submission? Broader still, this highlights the narcissistic playbook the original commentator described: bait opponents into reactions, then cry foul. Lively's attorneys embody this: gaslighting, refusing cooperation, demanding compliance on their terms. Baldoni's camp, fatigued and maligned, occasionally lashes out, like with the deposition upload, only to get scolded. Why not counter aggressively, striking her voluminous filings like 2,000 pages dumped in motions to compel? Their passivity might be principled, but in this arena, it borders on suicidal. The judge's rulings increasingly favor Lively, circumventing prior decisions to protect the process from abuse. What if this pattern continues? It could expose everything, from Hollywood's power imbalances to the weaponization of courts against critics. Rhetorically, why risk contempt when silence might preserve dignity? Could Hilton's defiance inspire others, or will it deter them? The tension is palpable, each filing a minefield, every word scrutinized. As Lively dominates, questions linger. Is this justice, or a masterclass in manipulation? Now that the stakes are crystal clear, let's rewind for a moment to understand how this nightmare began. It all traces back to the 2024 film, It Ends With Us, where Justin Baldoni directed and co-starred with Blake Lively. What should have been a collaborative triumph devolved into allegations of on-set harassment. Lively claimed Baldoni made her and others uncomfortable through inappropriate conduct, body shaming, and unscripted intimate scenes. Baldoni denied it all, countersuing for defamation, but his $400 million suit against Lively and Reynolds was dismissed in June 2025, as was his $250 million action against the New York Times for reporting her claims. Lively's lawsuit escalated, accusing Baldoni and his PR team of retaliating with a coordinated smear campaign online. Subpoenas flew, ensnaring outsiders like Perez Hilton, whose critical posts drew ire. Ryan Reynolds entered the fray via association, with Baldoni alleging interference, though those claims fizzled. Fast forward to 2025, depositions, motions, and rulings pile up, with a trial slated for March 2026. Essential to note, This isn't mere gossip. It's a battle over reputations, free speech, and accountability in an industry rife with power plays. Peeling back the legal layers, what does the law demand in such chaos? In simple terms, court filings must advance the case legitimately. No harassment, no media baiting. Judge Lyman's inherent powers allow striking abusive or irrelevant documents to ensure orderly proceedings. The deposition strike exemplifies this. Attaching the full transcript when only fragments matter burdens the opponent and risks scandal, violating docket integrity. Strategically, Baldoni's move was a disaster. Why not limit to the 2 pages? It invited sanctions, though none were imposed yet. Contempt, the sword dangling over critics like Hilton, punishes disrespect, fines or jail for insulting the judge or parties. Lively's aggression, pouncing on errors, refusing negotiations, exploits this, while Baldoni's restraint avoids escalation but cedes ground. Subpoenas, like Hilton's, must be relevant and not burdensome. His Nevada quash argues privilege as a journalist. If he skips responding to Lively's compel, he risks waiving defenses, even pro-SE. Could amending her complaint reinstate dismissed elements? Smart for Lively, risky if overreaching. In plain English, this teeters on abuse. Aggressive tactics might win short-term, but alienate judges long-term. Why not seek mutual sanctions? Baldoni's passivity could prove fatal. Zooming out, this case unmasks Hollywood's underbelly, celebrities wielding lawsuits to muzzle critics, setting precedents that chill speech. If Lively prevails, it might embolden victims against harassment. If not, it exposes how narratives are spun to destroy foes. Reynolds' backing highlights inequality. Deep pockets exhaust opponents. Future-wise, with trial in 2026, expect more depositions, perhaps Lively's amended complaint, and Baldoni's insurance suits for fees. Hilton's fate? His quash could shield him, but contempt looms if he slips. If this advances, it could dismantle careers and expose systemic biases. What do you think? Is the judge biased or essential order keeper? Drop your take in the comments below. If this deep dive hooked you, hit that like button, subscribe for more unfiltered breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this video to spark the conversation. Your voice matters. Until next time, stay vigilant in the fight for truth.